I'm going to organize this training kind of like a class. So just imagine if you were a student and you're sitting here. One of the first things that would happen is the kids in the after-school program get a super snack. Then you come and get them. And we sing a song to move them from their super snack to the Young Gardeners program. Anybody want to take a guess what that song is? Yeah, just walk in.
What, this land is your land?
You knew it all. Oh, is it written here? Is it written in here?
I'm good.
That's good. That's it. So we sing that, and then we introduce all of the team leaders every day. So the way we do that is I will say, I don't know if you remember your names, even though you just told me. I'm going to say, Bethany? Dara. I just say, stand up and introduce yourself. So we're just going to go around and do that. And this is actually what happens in the class. So stand up and introduce yourself. And we're all going to clap when she does. All right. Awesome. Thank you. Good job. Now, we're still going to do an icebreaker because this is an example of what you do in the class many times to start it off. So I'm not actually going to make you guys get up and stand in a circle. But what would happen is I would say, okay, everybody in the circle, hold hands. Because, you know, little kids, you actually have to hold hands in order to make a circle. And here are the rules of the game. We're going to play the fruit and veggie game. So start thinking right now. We're going to use alliteration. Does anybody know what alliteration is?
What?
What? Alliteration. ALLITERATION. Does anybody know?
No, it starts with it.
Donnie, do you know what it is?
Starts with the same sound.
That's right.
What?
So,
Tomato top.
Starts with the same sound.
that's right. So you are thinking about your name. And you're going to think about a fruit or a vegetable that starts with the same letter as your name. So my name, by the way, you use first names in the Young Gardeners program. My name is Nan. And my vegetable is nasturtium. It's an edible flower that you're going to learn about.
I don't even know what it is.
So we're going to skip right to organizational background. So, do you know what the name of this program is?
Young Gardeners program?
Yes. People call it Garden Club, people will call it all kinds of things. And the official name is now the Young Gardeners program. And the Young Gardeners program is a project of Galveston's own farmers market. Galveston's own farmers market is the market that operates on Thursdays and Sundays at the Bryant Museum. Galveston's own farmers market is a 501c3 that operates not only the farmers market, but there's a series of community cooking classes that the farmers market does, and everywhere from the Family Service Center to Gulf Breeze to Kitchen Chick, all kinds of cooking classes in all areas of the Galveston community. There are also community dinners that the farmers market hosts with partner organizations. There is also what's called a food access program, and that's the program that is the program where people can use Thank you. People who use SNAP or WIC vouchers, Women, Infants, and Children's vouchers, can bring those to the farmers market and use them. The farmers market SNAP benefits are matched up to $15, I think. Okay, and then there are other food access activities, and I'm saying food access because food access is very much oriented to getting healthy food to economically disadvantaged people on the earth. And then the latest project of the farmers market is the Young Gardeners program. So Young Gardeners program is, so some of you know this already. So back in May of last year, I was at a workshop and I made an impossible promise that just kind of came out of nowhere, that I wanted to create, so it was the course actually. I know, Gina. From just kind of having moved to Galveston and feeling like I had a unique contribution. So my completely unreasonable, illogical promise was to have a school, get a school garden program in every school on the island. And I started talking to different people, I started going to classes. In August, the school district called me and said, we'd like to talk to you about your idea. And 20 minutes later, I walked out with approval to roll out what then I was calling the School Garden and Healthy Aging Program at Coastal Village. They actually wanted to roll it out in like 3 or 4 schools, but I'm like, no, it's just me and a couple of my friends. And by that time, I talked to a bunch of people, all kinds of people were interested in playing with me and helping me do this. So we started at Coastal Village, we pushed into the after-school program there. So all of the elementary and some of the many schools on Galveston Island have after-school programs. Right now, and I'm talking about public schools, they are all kind of operated by the school district. We are pushing into those after-school programs 2 days a week. At Coastal Village, it's the 1st and 2nd graders. At Morgan, it's, I don't know what it is. It's the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th graders. At Oppie, it's 3rd and 4th graders. Besides kid sessions, so you guys are actually here for training for volunteers for the kid sessions. So we push into those after-school programs that go basically from 3 to 5:15. Half an hour, 20 minutes is spent inside or outside learning something that's kind of academic. You guys, open up the pizza.
Oh.
I'm going to stop talking in a second and suggest that people go and get some. That's like science related or literature related or art related. They learn something that's like meets the Texas educational, something called TEKs or Ts. Then we go outside and we garden for an hour. These gardens are production gardens, meaning they are not about discovering things. It is about going out, planting vegetables that that the kids' parents will eat, or that or their grandparents will prepare. So we don't have a huge variety, we did last year, but it's like maybe 10 different vegetables. Right now, we're going to be harvesting potatoes when the kids come back. So they plant, they weed, they water, they pest control, they harvest, they do all of it. And they grow enough food so that by mid-October, the plan is that they take home a bag of food every week. Each kid takes home a bag of food. 40 kids.
I know.
I mean, there's a possibility that we may have fewer. Our standard is to have 1 adult per 7 kids. Actually, at Rosenberg, we're thinking about making it fewer, maybe 1 to 5, but we'll just see how that shakes out. And so that's the garden facilitator, the person who's at the kids session. There are other volunteer roles. There's the community canvasser. On Mondays from 6 to 7:30, 2 people go out and just knock on doors of homes in the neighborhoods where we have programs, and just say, hi, we're in a gardens program. Here's a flyer if you're ever interested in volunteering, or if you're ever interested in getting some of this produce, just here's the contact information. Then there's weekly waterers, and all of the kids water, weekly waterers. All of the kids water, they don't water sufficiently to keep the plants hydrated for most of the year on the Gulf Coast. So we have an adult come in, they sign up for 3 months at a time, and there's a Monday water, Tuesday water, Wednesday water, Thursday, etc. It takes about an hour at this time of year to water a garden. In December, it'll probably take half an hour, and that's another volunteer role. And then the final main volunteer role is the community work day, and we have community work days at each school, we rotate basically. It's gonna be the second and fourth Saturdays, and from 9 to 11, adults come in and do beautification and maintenance stuff, and eat kolaches and all that stuff. Any questions about the overview of what the Young Gardeners program is at this point?
You did good.
Take a couple minutes and go get some pizza. What this is a summary of, a different kind of summary of the program. That's really important to get an idea of what's important to the people who have put the program together. Because after I had my brilliant idea, it left me and became something that many people have developed. So what I'd like to do is go around the room and everybody read. Actually, I'll start. Our missions, values, goals, and policies. These are quotes from other organizations that do stuff that we looked to for guidance and for inspiration. So understanding at a young age where food comes from is an important first step in making the important connections among plants, science, and the benefits of a healthful lifestyle. That's one federal word,
Food is much more than nourishment, just like gardens are much more than sources for vegetables and fruits. By identifying the food choices and natural experiences that our students have had and that different cultures have, we support them as they learn about the world around them and beyond.
When schools prioritize health and social well-being in tandem with academic goals and extend their mission to involve families and surrounding communities, students thrive.
Our mission is to cultivate a community of healthy and happy young people by encouraging them to put their hands in the dirt, eat well, and learn the transformation power of growing their own food.
Values: health, organic growing, community development, and activism. Growing your own food is empowering and magical. All human beings are connected through food. Respect for everyone, curiosity and creativity. Diversity brings vitality to all living systems.
Our Young Gardeners program curriculum students will gain a comprehensive and multidisciplinary learning experience that incorporates their senses, imaginations, and intellect through explorations into science, the environment, health and nutrition, and their own values in their surrounding community. Through YGP, students will
Science. 1, understand the role of soil in successful growing of food. 2, understand the needs of plants. 3, know the parts of the plant and the purpose for each plant.
Environment. 4, will become familiar with different types of plants and how to grow them. 5, learn how to plan a healthy and diverse production garden. 6, understand the interdependence of living things.
Health. 7, learn about a healthy diet and why fresh fruits and vegetables are crucial for good health. 8, learn to make healthy recipes with ingredients from the garden. 9, gain the skills needed to grow for a lifetime.
Community activism. 10, students will become an active part of their community through stewarding their school's garden.
I'm going to read the policies. Preparing a recipe once per month. That's actually the kids do the preparation. Singing This Land is Your Land every day. Going into the garden every day unless there are extenuating circumstances. Starting in mid-October, a kid takes home food at least once per week. Oh, sustainability is huge. Huge, huge. That's why we're using this kind of plates, these kind of napkins, blah, blah, blah. So these will place utensils. We do only organic gardening. The only chemical we use is fire ant stuff on the ground. A maximum of lessons must begin by sharing the expectations of the day, the overall aim, and guiding questions. A maximum of 7 kids to 1 adult at all times. Adults and students are expected to treat everyone with respect. No physical correction of students. That actually means even stuff like, get over here. You guys probably already knew that. I did. Garden time shall always be structured. That would be nice. It is, but sometimes you just don't want to, you just want to let it go. Gardens are planned for maximum yield and minimum expense to demonstrate home affordability. So maximum yield is about planting things very closely. It's also, minimum expense means that, here's the way it plays out. We actually don't buy seedlings. The kids start everything from seed, either by direct sowing into the bed or the ground in some of the locations, or doing the little seed tray thingies. The other thing is, like, when we plant lettuce and some kinds of greens, we actually cut harvest instead of pulling. So, because if you cut harvest lettuce, you can get it 5 times over. And I'm glad you guys are all shaking heads, but these are can be controversial. There were some people who actually did not agree with this last year. So,
What was that particular, with what?
how close we were planting stuff, and particularly the cut harvest. Cut harvest of lettuce, cut harvest of collards, of mustards, instead of letting them grow to a big thing and then pulling them.
It's just everybody's different.
This was all about, also, we regularly send kids home with a plant for them to try things at home. It doesn't make any difference whether it's going to live. And this is all about maximum yield and trying to teach people who think they can't afford it that they can. Hands in the dirt every week. We allow for experimentation while prioritizing food production. So in the garden, I found it very tempting to be experimenting on different stuff. So one experiment we did was we had a carrot patch and we weeded half of it and we didn't weed the other half. We let butter crunch and arugula go to seed. And then we replanted them. All kinds of experiments. We have decided though that we will experiment, but we have to keep enough space in production so that kids can take food home. Diversity of race, color, gender, sexual orientation, and physical ability shall actively be sought out in our adult leadership in order to best represent and reflect our students' identities. And we're always working on that. Okay. Any comments? What's present for you right now after going through all of this? Or questions?
Nothing.
And we just realized actually how important food culture, I guess it's a phrase, is, and we're going to actually try to pull that out.
That'd be great.
Yeah, thank you. It says here that we're going to take a break, but we're not going to take a break. We're going to wait till around 6:30 to take a break. So here's a point where there are some issues, we're calling them big questions and issues, because these are critical to working with kids. That's the bottom line. So I think I'm just gonna read about it, all right? How do you report or deal with dangerous student behavior? If the behavior is harmful to themselves or others, the session leader, so there's a leader of the session, will call, it's the school site's after-school coordinator on a walkie-talkie, and they'll ask for the children to be moved and to get some support. There will also be an incident log filled in by the session leader. Now, we're talking about really dangerous behavior, and it just happens because they're out there with tools, and then if there are kids who may lose it and they start trying to not just play sword fight, but actually going after another kid
Right.
with another tool, we have to pull them out. And so you should know that you may have to be the one to do that. How do you report a confession of sexual abuse or violence? And this is a report from a child. If it's told to a volunteer, you must immediately tell the session leader. The session leader report it to the site's after-school coordinator. Tell them that they need to speak ASAP and fill out an incident report. They won't like get on walkie and talkie and say, hey, I just got a sexual abuse thing from a kid. It'll be confidential. Now, you should know, though, that if a kid reports to you, you will probably have to make a report to
Oh, yes,
What-
CPS.
CPS, thank you.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Because, I mean, if they tell you, you got to tell them.
right.
Yeah.
So it won't
Yeah.
just be the session leader.
Right.
You're gonna have to make a report. That doesn't mean don't listen to kids who are like in trouble. Just know that that's a part of your responsibility. Strangers in the garden. So, strangers in the garden are literally people who are not part of our program. And we actually encourage people to come to our garden. However, while the kid session is in place, it's gotta be us, the volunteers, or the teachers, or the kids, or the parents and family of the kids. If there are people, and almost every session there are people who come by the garden and say, hey, and they'll talk to you. They may say, can I come in and do stuff? And what you can tell them is, we have a way that you can volunteer. If you want to volunteer in these sessions, you speak to the session leader, and then anybody can come in on community work day. So bottom line, strangers not allowed.
Right.
Technology. So this is news to me. After school, kids are allowed to keep their phones.
Yeah.
But they should not be using them unless they're speaking to a parent or guardian. One warning and then the phone will be taken from them. It's not a huge issue.
No.
Volunteer misconduct. And that's just basically either a volunteer speaks harshly, it can be all kinds of things. Volunteer speaks harshly, volunteer takes off all their clothes, a volunteer starts arguing with other volunteers. In any case, if you feel that there has been misconduct, you report it to the session leader. If the behavior continues, we really expect and ask that you try to address the misconduct with that person directly first. If you don't feel safe, then you come to the session leader. If the behavior is actually harmful, and that's not just physically, but if it's mentally or emotionally harmful, do not correct the behavior, go and get the session leader can ask first to leave. And then it comes up to the YDP director, and I'm the YDP director. Okay. Any questions on any of that stuff? Cool.
Who's Marcy?
What?
Who has children?
Yeah.
Okay, you know, who likes kids?
Right. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. I'm gonna split you guys up because you know each other.
What do we do?
You were going to partner up, so you two will be together.
Arm wrestling or?
No. The next section is section 2. You're going to be going over the procedures. It's a 7-page document. And basically, you're gonna partner up, and I think you're gonna read it to each other. Yes, you're gonna read out loud to each other, alternating sections, and you're actually going to leave this room to do it. Why? Because we want you to get up and move around. So, the other thing about the Young Gardeners program, constant movement.
Well, I like to move.
Yeah, it's constant movement. There are opportunities to be a facilitator and not always be. Like if it's an issue, But really,
We have to read this.
You're off the dark. so, because you guys are, is there anybody else in here?
Please each other, I mean, it's not like we're gonna not read.
To meet new people, So this is,
I like people.
this is the same thing that we have the kids do. This is to give you an experience of what the kids will be doing. You will constantly be putting the kids with other kids that they may not be comfortable with. Because in the garden,
Well, that's their job.
you get to know people. So, if you guys could not partner up with somebody besides each other.
Yeah.
Now, there needs to be a threesome.
A threesome?
Yeah, because there's, not a And so one group can stand here and the others of you leave the room.
And we practice this and do that
Never read it, yeah, we've got.
over and over.
Yeah, well, there's another big part of reading. And this actually, okay, so you are the kids. So we've just had an intense inside session where you were actually reading a story to each other. So now we need to kind of loosen up. And it's pouring outside. We actually usually go outside when it's raining. But if it's pouring, the school will often stop us. So we're gonna have to stay inside today. So everybody stand up and do a little stretch. Okay, so you're stretching back. Then you're gonna stretch up. And then we're going to do the plant grow game. So you're going to start as a seed. Go down to the ground. Down. It's raining. You're starting to move. The sun comes up. Down. What do? Put little tendrils out. Then you're going to grow. And grow, and you're going to put out leaves and branches. And actually, the more it rains, the wind blows, the sun does, you're going to be moving around. You're ready to be eaten. Okay, sit down. Okay, we're in the last stretch here, seriously. The next section is about policies. It's a long section and it is very important in terms of if you really want to understand what you're doing and also kind of understand possible risks for you or for the children. So, and then basically what happens when certain things happen. So we went over this in the skinny, but this is the in-depth. So you can either stay in here, or you can go anywhere on this floor, because I think they closed the other floors off now. It's 6:36. You're going to take 20 minutes to read. While you're reading, you should take a pen or highlighter, and you're going to identify what are your top 5 points. Your pen's right here. And you're going to come back and we're going to share about the top 5 points. So you guys should go together and you can read it out loud to each other. Okay, are you ready? Polish and put in perform and technologically accessible and all that stuff. So, first of all, before we go, we're going to go around the table and you're going to share your top point. You will not repeat anything that anybody else has already said. But before we do that, anything you want to say off the top of your head before about policies? Okay, let's go this way. Karen. Hey, wait a minute, I just have to get my little document. I want to make sure you get the 10 that we want to make sure you do get. Okay, Karen.
I think building the children's esteem.
Building esteem is very it is a foundation of why this exists. Thank you.
But to model the desired positive behavior.
Modeling the behavior. So we are showing them how to live great. So you just always want to keep that in mind. Okay, Susan.
I had on constructive praise, giving constructive praise.
That's right.
Awesome, you're hitting everything. Excellent, thank you, Susan.
Creating an environment of loving kindness.
Loving kindness. We create that for them, no matter what their day has been like.
Loving kindness. Bethany.
Just being able to like set good examples for the young. Being able to set good examples.
Setting good examples, modeling behavior, setting good examples, yes. Awesome. Donnie?
Discourage challenging behavior by focusing on what children can do rather than what they cannot do.
Redirect, redirect, redirect. You don't have to tell them, stop doing that, stop doing that, stop doing that. And trust me, it'll be coming up every other minute. Kids in the garden.
Encourage self-discipline, accountability for one's actions, and respect for others.
Foundation of the program. Accountability. Thank you.
Did somebody say expectation of bargaining program? Expectation, maintain composure, set limits. Yeah. Demonstrate empathy, something positive. Somebody said that one, right?
The positive empathy is very important.
Yeah.
Yes. Anything else you want to pull out?
And the code. That's important.
Which one?
Volunteers must appear clean, neat, and
The
appropriate
code of
attire.
conduct, yeah.
You know, we're gonna have the right shoes.
Yes. And the thing is, it's gardening clothes, but you don't want to be grungy. I mean,
Correct. Yeah. You don't want to be pre-dirty.
Or come there in heels.
both things have happened.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't want to be up heels.
They just didn't. Yeah, it's happened. Awesome.
And,
Thank you.
yeah, just all that was good, kind of.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Loyalty.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Respect of attitude, loyalty, to be patient, courtesy, all that.
Yep. There it is.
And I noticed the approach to the managing behavior. Managing the misbehavior, you know, because of course I don't know, I wouldn't of course do anything, but I wouldn't know normally how to, you know, find help or what, you know what I'm saying, because this is very new to me.
Yes.
But being able to, you know, and of course, but I would first go to the session leader.
That is correct.
But reading about it and how, you know, the different, and then the parenting, you know, being involved, encouraging the parents to get involved, I think is really great.
Excellent. Foundational principle.
Yes. You know, it's all around a good program, but it you know, the expectations, of course, are, you know, things that I think most of us is common sense. You know what I'm saying, as far as wanting to be a volunteer in the first place. So, you know, it's just all good, common sense things to remind us. So I enjoyed all of it. It really is good to keep in mind, especially when it becomes, like I noticed there's an issue, all of a sudden there's grievances and issues that things happen. And so being aware of that type of thing, you know, you need session leaders and team facilitator. I'm not ready for it. I can one, but you know, that takes a lot of training.
Yeah.
Because it takes a planning and you've got to know what you're going to do and what.
It's not so much training as,
Well, I mean, what are you going to fleek and have a lesson plan? That's.
oh, we provide all the lesson plans, you guys.
Yeah.
We provide lesson plans. But yeah, to taking a lesson plan and then actually,
Being able to,
what do you call it? Actually do it?
yes,
Yeah.
actually follow through.
Yeah, to actually lay it out there
Lay
and
it all out
all the
there.
little, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like encouraging children to take on responsibilities.
Accountability, responsibility. Okay, well, you guys were really, you guys got almost all of them. In Gardner's program is a project of Galveston's own farmers market, very important. I think you said this, but I'm just gonna point and pull it out. Violence and or harassment in any form is not tolerated, whether it's of adults or children. We welcome volunteers, leaders, and participants of all backgrounds, abilities. So, I think I said this, oh yeah, we were talking a little bit earlier. This year, we are really making a concerted effort to recruit leaders and kids who have different abilities, not what you typically see. So, we've made all of the gardens wheelchair accessible. That kind of stuff. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Volunteers are actually the heart of this program. It's not the soil, it's not the planting, it is the relationship and the community that you guys create with the kids, with the teachers, with the families, and all that stuff. Anything else anybody wants to say about policies? Okay, we did not do a mock lesson, but I want you to turn to, is it 4? Section 4. I mean, we're not going to do a mock lesson, and we didn't. This is the mock lesson we would have done. I think that you're going to be getting, all garden facilitators will probably receive the lesson via email the week before. I think we're still going to do that, but we may not because, quite frankly, most people didn't read through it. But the whole purpose of having a welcome huddle is to go through this lesson plan. But this is what it looks like. This is what the first one will probably be. This will be available at every session. Even if you don't bring it, there will be a copy for you as a team leader or team facilitator to have, because especially when it gets to the garden part and even with the classroom part, you're going to want to refer to this. Okay? That's all I'm going to say about that, because really you've got to do it. That other part about Texas essential knowledge skills, that's for the school district and for our funding sources, so that they know that we're actually teaching something, which I didn't care about last year because I just cared about school gardening and healthy eating. But it turned out that the stuff that we were talking about was all stuff that was reinforcing what they were learning in school. So somebody went through and pulled out all of these things. So now, here we are all together. I'm the session leader, you're the team, the garden facilitators. We've had our dance party. We probably played Who Let the Dogs Out. Probably the kids' favorite song. And we're coming back to huddle. It's farewell huddle time. So, yes, we're gonna go around again. Is there anything that you would like to share that was great, or that you would like to have improved, or that could be added around today's training? Or just anything at all that you want to say? What did you last time do?
Well, I think it's all great. I really, this is so much more than what I thought it was going to be. So that's really exciting. Yeah, it really feels like it's not just like you're not just like going in and like volunteering for an hour and leaving and like never, and it feels more like a planned out.
That's right, your teacher.
Yeah, it just, it's really nice. Like, it feels like you're really going to be a part of the kids' lives, and so I look forward to that.
Well, like she said, I didn't know it was going to be quite this intense, but it's definitely a great program, and I would like to help any way I can. But I'm kind of move slow. It's a lot to read and take in, but I'm sure as we get more, we'll learn more.
Once you get out in the garden.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Yay!
Do you know that?
I think it's very, very detailed and it, textured, and there's a lot to it. And I think it gives the students, the facilitator, everybody who's involved, it gives them an opportunity to grow and actually transform their lives. At first I was like, man, you kind of know me, I'm a no. I have the power of no. Often when you ask me things, it's like, no, I'm sorry. But really, I think I'm pretty, like really going through this, I was like, oh yeah, definitely a yes. Because it's power, I think it's really powerful.
I appreciate you putting this program together. I've been involved at Poppy's Garden for the past couple of years, real loosely, just trying to keep it from looking like a jungle. And the help that has been received both from parents and from staff at Poppy has been spotty at best. We don't have funding there. It's hard to get a dedicated staff member that can really be the liaison between the people who want to contribute and the schools. So I feel like this program will really give a lot of confidence to the people who do want to be a part. They won't feel like they're wasting their time anymore.
And that's a very good experiment over there.
Mm-hmm.
And I am hoping that you will continue to give feedback, because everything's not gonna work, you guys. We are gonna fail every day. Yoo-hoo! Because then we get to try something new.
Failure's first attempt at learning.
Thank you, Donnie. Anything else?
Thanks for dinner.
Well, even though I came in late and once I was presented with this program, I was real hesitant about volunteering, because I've never volunteered, done anything. And I've always wanted to garden, so that's what made me want to, join and get into it. And I have a son that goes to Omni, so yeah. So it was a lot to take in, and I'm really looking forward to learning all that I can, because I'm trying to get out my little comfort zone and trying to do more and be a part of the community. This is my first year here in Galveston. I'm actually relocated here from Houston to Harvey, so I'm trying to familiarize myself with the community and wanted to be a part of it.
Awesome. Now, but now, do you work every Monday through Friday until 5?
I work Monday through Thursday. I'm off Friday and Saturday.
Okay, so it's gonna be hard for you to be
It
away
is.
But you can be a water or you can be a regular at the work days. Critical. Okay, cool. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you for coming.
I'm excited. I was neat to come across. I wanted to collaborate on a community level with the garden. I wasn't sure how that interest was going to be, so it looks like this will be it, hopefully. I have a son copy as well. And so when I saw this come across the emails, and I was gone all summer, we had a family thing that we had to do, so I wasn't really able to participate. But then this came in as I was so, and reinforce and build parenting skills and communication skills and teaching skills with the digging in the dirt as a facilitator and teaching on the science and just igniting that. I don't know what I would say, like igniting that desire or that willingness or that connection is special, and I'm excited to be involved in that. So thank you again.
Okay, so you guys, and you know that Nicole, there's a teacher, she's Nicole Defner, she is, and Danica is there, so you guys are the core at this point. You guys are gonna be the Morgan people for sure. We don't know where they're at. LA Morgan School.
Oh.
Thank you. Anything else?
I can come
Susie.
Yes.
Well, I'm just really impressed by all of this because, I mean, it's a lot more in depth than what I thought it was. But, I mean, everything that's really cool. I've been a gardener in the past, but I'm an apartment liver now, and so there's not a whole lot of gardening you can do, although you can do some, herbs and stuff like that, but, I just wanted to I've seen, doing the Seaside Senior luncheons over at the Hippo Church. They've had that garden out to the side, did you?
Oh, yeah.
That was, of course, it looks horrible now because whoever was maintaining that stopped maintaining it, so.
Yeah.
But before it was just so beautiful, I would just admire it, but I've driven through town, I've seen the community gardens, and I've just, I've had a desire to get in there and to help, and, their statement said, twice a month? I mean, that's not a whole lot to have to give.
That's a minimum.
That's the minimum. But, I mean, even a busy person, like I stay pretty busy, twice a month, at least that's something, and watering doesn't mean that I can't go and water, one day a week, and plus do an afternoon class twice a month, at least the first year until I can get into it and maybe figure out more time that I can give, so.
And
But I'm excited about
things
it.
that you do in the garden too.
Excuse me?
There may be other things that you end up doing in the garden too.
Yes.
Cool. Thank you, Susie.
Mm-hmm.
Just excited to get started.
Yeah, so I was moved to the area recently, and I have some time on my hands at the moment. I was really looking at all these volunteer opportunities, and this popped up, and I left a huge garden. I had raised bed gardens in my backyard, and fig trees, and grapefruit trees, and the deer would come up and eat my figs, and I just really miss getting in there and growing stuff and being able to, teach kids how to do that. You don't need a lot of space either, to grow your own things. I popped a few things in the beach house yard, some fresh herbs and things like that, but I miss the gardening aspect, to be able to teach a kid that and be able to grow food and know where it comes from and what they're supposed to be eating is in a box with a bunch of food coloring and things in it, and teach people how to eat right if you want to be healthy. So I'm excited to get started.
You reminded me that the one thing that was also foundational principle is that we are out to transform the health of our community. That we are doing that. I am so honored by I was just kind of blown away by, oh my God. I sent pictures of you guys to our leadership cohort and the executive directors of the farmers market. She's like, she made one of those emoticons. We are changing our community. We know that what we do with these guys, they're taking it home, and then they're taking them to their other kids. So I thank you very, 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 very much. You're gonna get an email. Might have already gone out. Okay, I cry all the time. You should just know that. It probably already went out asking you to sign up for slots. Do not hesitate to contact Danica, who's the coordinator for this, or me. You can call me anytime. You should have my phone number.
Yeah, all over.
Okay, good. And ask me things. I am a volunteer, and I work this wholeheartedly beyond full-time, so you don't ever hesitate to call me up. You tell me day or night, so that I pretty much sleep by 9 o'clock. And what I'm saying is, getting to is, I may miss something. I may be getting in touch with you. I may be sending you the background check document. Hold me to my word. If I say I'm gonna do it and I don't do it, just follow up. Anything else to be complete? We are complete. Thank you very much.